Alive and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D-Bill coming at you with another B-Bill with D-Bill, where entertainment is what I do. And I'm doing it again in high fashion. Yes, sir. We are going to be discussing the MCU and the 616. See what I did there? They're two different things. Act like you know. Thought you thought. Anyway, the paradigm being flipped. And I'll tell you what I mean about the paradigm being flipped in a second. But before I do, I need y'all to do for me what y'all always do for me. Comment, like, subscribe, and share to the Be Real with D-Real page so that when new material comes out like this right here, you get it. If you're digging what a brother's shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket, comment, like, subscribe, and share to the page. Subscribe. I'm trying to get my subs up. Anyway, that sounded weird. Anyway, what I mean about the paradigm being flipped, picture, if you will, let's just go Harry Potter books, right? Harry Potter books. Okay. Harry Potter books spawned Harry Potter movies. Harry Potter movies spawn Harry Potter merchandise, so on and so forth. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, and all that came before, passed away, and here we are, 1,000 years later, and somebody sees a Universal Studios and Harry Potter, or, whatever, Harry Potter, the Quidditch field, or, whatever the amusement park attraction is. And they go, what is this? Oh, it's an amusement park attraction, blah, blah, blah. People used to ride them and do this and do that. Well, why does it look like that? Well, who is that person? And if there's a really scholarly, knowledgeably smart person about history hanging around, they can explain, oh, that's Harry Potter. Harry Potter is based on a series of movies, which was before based on books. But if you didn't have Mr. Historian there to say, this is what this was, you only have the context of what you see. Okay? So now let's back up to Marvel. Marvel is comic books and a comic book based company that in turn spawns tons of merchandise with all different kinds of, everything from toys to furniture and underoos and all that kind of stuff. That in turn, together, spawn movies. And these movies become really, really successful, like billion-dollar successful. Now, we are a technology-based society, so everything we do is based in technology. So what becomes ascendant? Technology. What is the more viable technological mode that Marvel comes in? Motion picture form. So to the wayside falls comics and all of this other stuff. So evolutionary advance says that the MCU can spurn the universe that it sprang from or disregard the universe from which it sprang from. Think about that for a second. The MCU wants to become the be-all, know-all, do-all, the nexus of all things Marvel. that right? Is that fair? That's the question that I am presenting to you, the purist. I mean, everybody might not feel like about Marvel like how I feel about Marvel, and this kind of type like love hate type thing where you love them, you hate them, you hate them, you love them. I want to just 100% say y'all, but I can't because there's some parts of you that's just like I just want to hold on to. Toxic, ain't that toxic? You know, or maybe it's just me and I need to get my stuff together. But what I'm getting at is that rather, I know in times past, movies would emulate or try to create what was in the comic book. And so, in emulating what was in the comic book, you created this archetype. And this archetype is what people wanted to see. Like, for instance, you saw Captain America in comic books. Then you saw Captain America, if you was old enough to remember, in the 70s on this TV show where he rode a motorcycle a lot and had this transparent shield that conveniently fitted on a bike and was the windshield. I don't even know it, bruh. That just is what it is. But then it evolved from that to being, I think, like that 1990 live action Captain America with that Italian red skull. You see what I'm getting at here, right? And so visually, all of that ain't the same universe as the 616. So then we move on to the so-called MCU. It wants to become the nexus. It wants to become the primary place where all of these things sprang from. That's like saying you are greater than your father. You are greater than the one who gave birth to you. But I have good news for the people that are worried about that. This bubble is going to burst real soon because I feel like the comic book movie cycle is starting to reach a stage where recycling has got to be, somebody got to come up with a fresh idea. And if they don't, ain't nobody going to care what happens after that. And I don't want to see that happen. I want to see them continue in some kind of format. But I don't see it happening if they don't address those primary issues. What do y'all think? Do y'all think I'm just whistling Dixie, or is there really something that needs to be looked at as far as people seeing the MCU as that's what I go to and say, okay, what do you know about the Black Panther? A person who looks at the MCU says, oh, he's that dude that used to be the king of Africa and died, and then his sister took over. That's all they know about Black Panther because they don't feel like going back and looking at that character is a must. And so that becomes, that's Black Panther. He had that little run in them couple 4 movies and the movie with Shuri, and then that's it. So that becomes his legacy. When meanwhile, back here in all of these cartoon appearances and all of these comic books, you got this story-rich history of a character, but is relegated to just what you see on the screen is what everybody's going to regard as the Bible, the encyclopedia, the almanac. You see what I'm getting at? It becomes the be all end all. And to be an expert on all things Marvel, all you have to do is watch them 20, 30 so movies. So like, I am the guru grandmaster of all things Marvel. Nuh-uh. Not from what you a master of Marvel movies. That sounds good rolling off the tongue. Master Marvel movies. Yeah, that sounds good rolling off the tongue, but I went on longer than I was supposed to. But you get what I'm saying. Drop it in the comments. And as always, I'll be coming at y'all with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good. Be good to each other.